Hello and welcome to Training Manager. For the next 13 minutes, we're going to show you how to fill out and submit a fixed schedule timesheet. There is nothing you need to do, just sit back, turn up your speakers, and enjoy the show. There are two types of timesheets on Training Manager. The first is a timesheet for a fixed training schedule. So if your classes meet every Monday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., then your timesheets on Training Manager probably look like this. If you provide group training, then your training schedule is likely fixed, and therefore your timesheets likely look like this as well. If, on the other hand, your training schedule is more flexible, say maybe you provide telephone training, or maybe you provide private one-on-one training with a flexible schedule, then your timesheets on Training Manager probably look like this. The two timesheets have many similar characteristics, but they function in very different ways. As stated earlier, this demo is designed to explain to you the process for filling out fixed schedule timesheets. Nevertheless, we encourage you to watch other demos in our series, including the demo for filling out the flexible schedule timesheets. They're all on YouTube, and links to those demos were likely emailed to you as well. As described in the Getting Started demo sent to you by email, we recommend that you print your blank timesheets at the beginning of every month, fill them out by hand throughout the month, that you ask your students to sign them at the end of the month, and that you remit a copy of your paper timesheets to your manager immediately afterwards. This is in addition to filling out and submitting your timesheets online via Training Manager. This process is designed to protect you in the event that you make a mistake entering data in the system. Please note, your school may have specific policies regarding the printing of timesheets and requesting of student signatures. Therefore, we recommend you speak with your manager for further information. Upon logging into your Training Manager account, you are automatically brought to this page, which is a list of all timesheets you need to submit for the end of the month. To open your timesheet, simply click on the timesheet ID number located to the left of your screen. As mentioned earlier, the process for changing your printer's default settings to facilitate printing of timesheets was described in the Getting Started demo. It takes less than a minute to do so. After having made the changes described there, to print your timesheets, simply click on the Print button at the top right of your screen a first time. Allow the page to refresh, and click on it a second time. Now simply follow the on-screen instructions. If you're having any trouble printing your document, you may alternatively export your timesheet as a PDF and print it via your Adobe or other PDF software program. To export your timesheet as a PDF, simply click on this icon and follow the on-screen instructions. Now then, before we begin filling out this timesheet, let's review where some of the important data resides. First off, this is where your name will appear. Second, these are your students, and these blank cells represent their attendance this month. Third, these are the total hours of training you provided throughout the month. And finally, at the top here, you will find your group ID number and other relevant information. Now let's start filling out this timesheet. It's really very simple. To begin, I click on the hours representing the first day of the month that I provided any training to this group. This is the main difference between this fixed schedule timesheet and the flexible schedule timesheet. When you watch the demo for the flexible timesheet, you will notice that I click on the cell representing the day that my first student attended any training. But here I click on the day that the teacher provided any training. That's the difference. Got it? Okay, let's continue. Upon clicking on that cell, this pop-up appeared. Currently, the scroll bar is situated at the extreme left, and notice that the hours provided above it are showing 0. Now notice how as I drag the scroll bar to the right, the hours provided gradually increase from 0 to 3. And that's it. Now I just click on OK. Notice how the system automatically enters my hours for that day at 3 and my students' hours at 3 as well. Let's do that again. Click on the next day. Drag the scroll bar. Click OK. See how easy that is? Again. Click, drag, OK. Now doing this on a daily basis would be a very repetitive thing to do, so we've implemented a solution to make your lives a bit easier. I'm going to click on the next day. Drag the scroll bar just as I did before, but this time instead of clicking on the OK, I first click on Apply to All Days, and then I click OK. This essentially copies the information from this cell to all other days of the month that this group is scheduled to receive training. Want to see that again? Okay, click on any day of the month, drag the scroll bar, select Apply to All Days, click OK. There you go. One last time now. Click, drag, select, OK. Now, assuming that I never missed a day of work, and assuming that my students were present 100% of the time, I'd be done. All I need to do is select the most appropriate selection from this drop-down list at the top right here, and then click Submit. Now click OK to confirm that I want to submit. It could take a few seconds for the system to submit your data properly and to check your data as well. Just be patient. And there you go. We're done. Furthermore, notice how the system has created my timesheet for this group for the following month. Now let's do this again. I'm going to open the second timesheet in my list. The fact the row is highlighted in blue means that my name was originally added as a teacher to this group, but then it was removed for some reason. This is usually what happens if you are a substitute teacher in the group. However, upon opening this timesheet, I don't recognize any of the students' names, and I am positive that I never provided any training to any of these students this month. So it's pretty simple. All I do is make sure the NA appears in this list, click on Did Not Teach, the link at the top right here, click OK. Again, it could take a few seconds for the system to submit the timesheet. Nothing to worry about. Just give it a few seconds. And there you go. We're done. And by the way, notice that the system did not create a new timesheet for me for the next month. I've only got 2 in my list now. Now let's do this one last time, but this time we're going to enter more realistic data. Ready? Here we go. Click on the timesheet ID to open the page. Click on the first day of the month that I provided any training. This time, instead of dragging the scroll bar, I'm just going to click. It's a bit easier, and many of you will prefer clicking over dragging. Now then, click over here, select Apply to All Days, click OK. So far so good? Now let's say that I took this day off for a doctor's appointment. I would simply click on that day, click on the scroll bar to the left, and click OK. As you can see, my hours and my students' hours are always in sync. Now let's say that some of our students were absent throughout the month. You will notice that at the bottom of this timesheet is a legend. This legend describes the different situations you may encounter. For example, a student may have given you notice that he will be absent, or he may not. He may have been late. He may have left early. He may be on vacation, or maybe he's withdrawn entirely. Let's enter some of that data now. Let's say that this student was absent with notice on this day. To do that, I simply click on the day, click on the P, and click OK. Notice how the cell shows the student's attendance on that day as a 0, and it also shows the reason for that represented as a P for pre-notified absence. Now let's do that again. I click on the cell I wish to modify. I click on P, and I click OK. Again, click, click, click. Now I want to show that this student was absent without notice. Again, click on the cell. Select the A this time, and click OK. Let's do so again. Click, click, click. See? Nothing to it. Now I want to say that this student was absent from this point forward. I could click on every individual cell as I've been doing, or I could more simply do the following. Click on the first day that the student was absent. Click on P. Click on Apply from this day forward. As you can see, the system automatically fills in all the necessary cells. Now let's say that this student was late on this day. I click on the cell. Click on the L for late. And rather than being there for 4 hours, I indicate that he was only present for 3 hours on this day by clicking on the scroll bar. And I click OK. Want to see that again? OK. Click on the day. Click on the L. Click on 1 to show that the student was only present for 1 hour instead of 4. And click OK. One last time, but this time I'm going to indicate that the student left early. Here we go. Click on the day. Click on the E. Click on the scroll bar at 3.5 to show that the student was only in attendance for 3.5 hours instead of 4. And click OK. Very simple, nothing to it. Finally, let's say that this student was withdrawn from this group as of the 16th of the month. I click on the cell representing the 16th of the month. I select the W. And finally, apply from this point forward. Like I said, nothing to it. Now I'd like to show you how to add a comment to a timesheet. Essentially, you should only enter a comment to explain any situation which was not obvious by reading the data on the timesheet. You do not need to explain every little thing that happened throughout the month. Also, you should try to keep your comments short and to the point. Now then, remember that day off we took to go to the doctor? Well, maybe you'd like to explain that on your timesheet. So to enter a comment, I click on the little plus symbol at the bottom left here. Type my comment. And click OK. Notice how I start my comment with a date. It's a good idea to do so. Now let's do that again. Click on the plus symbol. Type another comment. And click OK. Notice how I refer to my students by their student number rather than their name. This is to protect student confidentiality. Now, if you ever make a mistake in your comment, you can always click on the little pencil here to edit your comment. When you're done doing so, click OK. See how easy that is? You can also delete your comment entirely by clicking on this icon. If at any time you make a mistake filling information, or perhaps you enter data that does not make sense, our beaver mascot will appear to give you helpful hints. Please take the time to read and follow the instructions. Your timesheets are important as they are the basis for your school's billing as well as your payroll. Mistakes can cost you or your employer a lot of money. Now I'll just submit this timesheet. And we're done. This marks the end of our demo for filling out fixed schedule timesheets. If any part of this demo is unclear, please watch it again or give us a call and we'd be happy to step you through your first timesheet. Finally, allow us to remind you that a second demo explaining the process for filling out flexible timesheets is also available and that we recommend you watch it as soon as possible. On behalf of your school and training manager, we welcome you to our team and look forward to working with you.